Good afternoon, everyone. Today I've got two dogs in here, some sheep. Working on getting some bonding between them. I got two new dogs almost 2 weeks ago now, and so for 1 week we struggled with keeping the dogs with the sheep. They wandered to a few different neighbors' places, and then they started coming into my yard. And the sheep are about a mile from our yard. I don't like that. I'll explain why. That really bothers me in a minute, but been reading some different books, talked to some different people that were doing the sheep for a while, and they suggested put them in a stock trailer, get them to bond together. So that's what we're working on right now. Been in here 2 days now. I'm hoping to do about a week just to really make it stick if it's going to work. So I've got feed in there for the dogs. I've got some water. I got to get some water for the animals. They're all sharing the water, and then hay. So big reason why I'm just going to grab the water. But the big reason I don't like them coming and going from the yard is due to how my last dogs were acting. When I got these sheep a year ago, these new dogs would not stay with my sheep. They kept coming into the yard. Well, one dog was really bad for that, and the other one wasn't so bad. But they just one would just keep coming back in, and they were about a half mile from the yard. I didn't worry about it too much. I thought that'd be fine. It's not really a bothersome to me. The dog goes back out there, and the other dog is staying out there pretty consistently. So I thought that's not going to be an issue. Even get a view of the dogs and sheep in there. But I brought the sheep in for the winter, and dogs just stayed. I didn't like that. I wanted these dogs. Well, when they came in the yard for the winter, it was pretty obvious that the dogs would be in the yard for the winter with the sheep. Well, after lambing, we moved the sheep out another half mile the other side of the yard, and now the other dog wasn't staying. And so that was really frustrating to me, and I didn't like that. I thought it would be much better if these dogs would be staying with the sheep. And so over the summer, I did a few different things. I tied tires to these dogs. I put horse halters on them so it wouldn't be on their neck, it was on their chests. Tied the tire to them about 8 feet away. They dragged the tire around, just a car tire. But the problem with that was, after a week, they started dragging it a mile back to our yard through 2 or 3 fences. Then I put a metal bar about 18 inches wide hanging from their collar to knock their knees. They came home, it didn't matter. I put up an electric net out in the field. I put them in an electric net, left them there for 2 weeks with the sheep around them. I thought maybe them being out there, they'd think to stay. Took the fence down. They followed me home. So I started looking around, thinking I had to put these dogs down to get rid of them. Nobody wanted them that I was talking to. They weren't working dogs. Like they were useless for the sheep. So talked to a friend. He had these dogs that I have now, and he runs an auction. So I was able to put my other dogs in his auction and sold them. Now, I didn't get anything. I would have given them away. They went to a new home, hoping they're working out good. It was supposedly a small operation. Kind of everything was in their yard. The dogs weren't going to be out in the field. I'm hoping they're keeping predators at bay, and if not, just being a good pet, because they were nice dogs. So new dogs. They get here. Seems to be going good. They're very they don't want to be touched. They don't like to be around people. Catching them the other day to put in the trailer was a job, and it took us a while, but just figuring out how to interact with them so that they know that we're not going to hurt them. We're not they're their threat, but they need to have a respect to us to not be in the yard. Finding that balance is what I'm working on. So working on that and figuring out how that goes. They arrived. They were doing pretty good. 3 days later, they were missing, and our neighbor called. He had them. So go to find them. Couldn't even get them, and then they just take off across the field just because we can't catch them. So anyways, they end up coming home that night. Very good. A few years later, they're gone again. Show back up the next day, and then we decided that what do we do? Like, how do we deal with this? And so we're just thinking about that. I was giving them bones when I go out there, give them a bone, see if they stay here, figure out their feed and their water and all that, how to do that so they know this is home. Another neighbor calls me about a whole week later and says, "Hey, I saw your dogs here, blah, blah." So I go to look for them, can't find them. The next day they showed back up. Okay, we got to do something. So this was the solution, was put them in the stock trailer here and to see if we can get them to become friends with our sheep. And that's the plan now. So we'll keep them in here and we'll see how it goes. And hopefully they will learn to stick with their sheep and just realize this is their home. Not to be worried, not to be trying to run around and figure out where the home is. This one right here, she's a mother, just had pups. Pups are just weaned off of her, and he's a fixed male. And so I don't know too much about all of that. I'm reading a book right now, learning about the dogs, breeds, and how do we take care of guardian dogs, how we work with them. Lots to learn. I'm enjoying the process. Not every day, but overall, I think it's good for me to be going through this just to understand working with the animals that are my production product that I'm trying to grow product to sell, than the animals that are helping me do that. And it's hard because even working with people that are part of that process to get my product to an end goal, that's even hard enough as it is. Now to throw in an animal, it's kind of crazy to think about all this, but that's the way we're supposed to work, is work with nature that God's given us, to steward it, to take care of it, and to I was not very good with my last dogs. I get angry because they weren't doing their job, and I'd yell at them and this and that, and I think it made it worse. So these dogs, I'm just not raising my voice. I'm not yelling at them. I'm not going to be trying to scare them out of my yard. When they have come into the yard, we got another dog here, and he's supposed to be a working dog. That's Jack, and he does his best. He tries, but whenever they come in the yard, he's kind of going to give them his 2 cents and kind of tell them what to do and how they're supposed to act. And this is his yard, so that's good. I'm just trying to figure out how they interact pretty good. There hasn't been fighting yet. Hopefully there won't be, because he does help us herd the sheep and whatnot. And so then if there's a problem there's a problem. You got to deal with that too. Less problems, the better. But this is big enough that I'm trying to figure out right now. This guy does not love. He got his nose. He did have his nose. He moved now, but had his nose sticking out there. So, just trying to figure out all this, and I think that it's good for me to be in this position where my sheep business so far has been really good. I have had very little death loss. My lambing went pretty good, and so far my costs have been very low. I've grazed almost all winter. I've only been feeding for a week and a half now, and I haven't even fed in 2 days because we've got clear weather. Grass is back out there. It's snow melted, so back grazing. It's just been really good, but I've got this thorn of these dogs. I'm trying to figure out how to work with them, and everyone's got something some kind of hurdle they got to deal with, and these dogs have been that for me, and it's been good to deal with this and just realize I'm supposed to work with these animals. They're going to work with me, and how I react with them is how they're going to react with me. I remember as a kid, I always remember that as riding a horse. The way that my emotions are on a horse, I could tell the horse knew that, and the horse would respond. If a horse knew I was scared, the horse would be scared because I was the master. I was the one in control. I'm not supposed to be scared. So if I'm mad at my dogs, if I'm not treating my dogs right, if I'm not cooperating with them, they're not going to cooperate with me because they think, well, there's a problem. I'm not doing my job right, or I'm not supposed to do anything. When when that man's around, I'm on edge. Even if I'm out in the pasture, he comes out there, I'm on edge. So we don't want that. Working on that, and learning how to be a shepherd and work with all the animals. That's where I'm at. So hopefully this turns out good. I have hope for these dogs because because I think I'm taking a little bit of a different view than my last two dogs. And it was good. It was about midsummer I started realizing what I was doing wrong, but I believe I was too far gone with the dogs I had. So starting fresh, try to do better, and steward what God's given me to be fruitful, multiply, and to the earth. Have a good day.